Before we get into the podcast, I want to take a second to talk about our company, Lonely Cowboy, and what we do, what we stand for, and what we're trying to accomplish. More specifically with the Lonely Cowboy Scholarship Fund. Our scholarship fund is used to create scholarships for high school seniors across the country that are interested in mental health education. And through the collaborations we do with tattoo artists, as well as the podcast episodes, we hope to normalize the conversation and continue talking about mental health in a fashion that is digestible to everyone. If you're interested in learning more about Lonely Cowboy, you can check out our site, www.lonelycowboyco.com. You'll be able to find the scholarship fund page and the GoFundMe link. I'll put that in the description below, as well as the clothing we produce, as well as some of the past tattoo artist collaborations we've done. Going forward, Lonely Cowboy is going to continue the podcast with tattoo artists and basically anyone who's interested in mental health. I want to thank you guys for listening and supporting. It means the world to me. And without further ado, enjoy this episode of CONVOS with KEEGS. All right, welcome back to another episode of CONVOS with KEEGS. I'm here with my good friend, Phillips, the videographer for Bishop Tattoo Supply and the artist behind the Artist Connection YouTube channel. Bro, it has been too long. How have you been doing?
Man. I've been good, man. Life's been treating me well. Life's a roller coaster, and right now it's on a up. Things are just kind of busy and not really showing signs of slowing down, which is good.
Yeah.
But there's obviously things that come with that as well.
Yeah. What do you mean by that? Let's elaborate on it, because I think that's a good topic for a lot of people, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think nature of being a freelancer, you're either really busy or you're almost begging for the next gig. Whenever you're busy, you wish it was slow. Whenever it's slow, you wish you were busy, and it's always this kind of roller coaster.
Gotcha.
And so right now is one of those times where work is very busy. Doing a lot of projects for Bishop right now, especially kind of coming into the summer. Things are starting to kind of ramp up. And then on top of that, I've been getting hit up by a few other freelance clients, some tattoo related, some not tattoo related, which is great. I'm staying really busy. And then on top of all that, there's obviously, the YouTube channel as well that unfortunately kind of gets, I would say, the least bit of my time. Unfortunately, I'm trying to kind of change that in these next few months. But so it's good, but I guess it comes with just stress. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of things going on. Also, just in personal life, I just had family come visit for 5 days, which was amazing to have them over. Me and my wife's 2-year wedding anniversary is coming up on the 16th.
Congrats.
So we're going to do a little trip. I appreciate that. Do a little trip for that. So it's work's busy, and then I'm also doing life stuff. And so it's just everything's kind of all happening at once. I wouldn't trade it for the world though, but I do think it is not all sunshine and rainbows. But
yeah,
maybe talk to me in 2 months when times are slow, and I'll be like, that was great. I need it to be like that again.
Yeah. Didn't you just move too?
Yeah, so this is a new, different, setup. You can't see too much behind me, but yeah, we moved as well. You literally could throw a rock and hit our old place.
Gotcha.
We're extremely close. So as far as moves go, it couldn't have been an easier move. But yes, that did happen about 3 months ago.
Gotcha. Right on. And how's that? Did you just get a bigger place? Because I know you got a dog too, right?
Yeah, we have a dog. We actually, it's ironically, it's the same square footage, and we actually moved from a 2-bedroom to a 1-bedroom, but it's, I don't know, you could just tell if you look at the last setup we did versus this one, this one's way brighter.
Okay.
It's just a much more open area. We get sunlight, pretty much all day. Our other place was the freaking, bat cave. It was just dark all the time. So it's been a good
tough.
little, something as simple as light, honestly, makes a big difference.
Yeah.
But it's been great. It was a fun move, and it was good because it was so simple, and then also like we're still going to the same gym and to the same grocery stores. Like our life is virtually the same. Like
Yeah,
none
yeah,
of
yeah.
that changed. So the move was pretty seamless. Like within a week, it kind of felt
Gotcha.
normal.
Dude, I forgot how much I love sunlight until the summer hit. Because in Buffalo, I mean, I'm not Sacramento area. That's pretty sunny, right? There's in the winter months, it's you still get sunshine, right?
Yeah, we still get sunshine. It'll get a little cold, but yeah, it's not nothing like what you guys have in
Yeah,
Buffalo.
dude. This winter was particularly bad. It was like the sun didn't even peek out for like 4 months. And yeah, like you were saying, just having that light and that sunshine come through the windows. Oh man, that has been a blessing. And I would, wherever I move to next, I need sunlight. I don't care if it's a shoebox. As long as there's some natural light, I'll be happy. I remember you mentioned earlier that you want to eventually in the next coming months get more into the artist connection and your YouTube channel. Do you think that's going to require you saying no to some freelance clients?
I think, unfortunately, it might. I'll tell you kind of where I'm at right now, where I'm looking at things kind of from two ends. There's the business side, and then there's the passion side, which is the YouTube channel. Um, I I'm so used to, I mean, being a freelancer. It was my very first job. It's the only job I've ever had. And when I first started off, like the idea of saying no to a project is like, what? Like,
Yeah.
I'm saying yes to any and everything, out of necessity. And now, luckily, I'm at a point I don't need to do that, but it's still very hard for me to say yes. I'm basically, if somebody tried to, come up to you and hand you money and you just said no, you know what I mean? Like, that's a weird concept. But I think when I'm too busy, I don't have time to relax. I don't have free time. I don't have time to do the things that I want to do. And now I'm realizing that that comes with a price. So I'm going to pay for it one way or another.
Yeah.
The thing I've been exploring with lately, now this is more in the business, but it pertains to the YouTube channel, is I'm trying to find a way to be more of a, business minded. I'm used to doing any and everything myself. I film, I edit, I'm making the vertical video, I'm making the horizontal video for this, that website and this social media, asset or whatever it might be. And so I'm trying to get to the point now to where I'm realizing I'm one person and there's only 24 hours in the day and I can only do so much before I'm going to drive myself crazy. So I'm trying to experiment with, instead of completely saying no, asking for help and trying to find other freelancers like myself that have the skill and the time and the ability to be able to do maybe some of the edits that I don't want to. And I bring up editing because that's the most time consuming. If I did an all day shoot with somebody, let's say it was 8 hours, that's still only one day. Versus, if I'm editing, let's say a 10-minute documentary, like that could take me weeks,
Yeah.
And so I'm realizing like, okay, like, yes, I might not make as much money off of every gig, but I'm going to have more time that's going to free me up to whether, go towards the YouTube channel, just relax and rewind and kind of reset, I guess, which I think is extremely important for creatives, which I definitely have had more of the mindset of just go, 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 and so I'm starting to realize that resting will actually help me, and so, which is weird. I still struggle with that, but so yeah, I'm trying from a business, standpoint to do just that, kind of make it more of a video business, make it more of a video production company where it's not just me doing everything, and then having that free time to allow me to do the things I want to do.
Gotcha. Okay. So are you gonna turn the artist connection into the production company, or is that gonna be just like a little caveat of what the production company produces?
I think they're still very separate. Everything that I do for PHX Productions, which is
Okay.
my freelance video business,
Gotcha.
that to me is still very separate from the YouTube channel. But I think I could only benefit if I learn how to delegate and outsource stuff. I've already outsourced editing for the Artist Connection. So a lot of the tattoo tours videos you have, I have my buddy Austin, who also helps me film them as well. He's local. He's a great videographer in this area. He's helping me film those and edit those because those to me are a little bit more templated, meaning like a documentary. Those are very near and dear to my heart. I want to have control over that. The pacing, the music, the shots, the feel, I like to have that control. But something like a tattoo tours, which is get somebody in front of a camera, get 2 angles, ask them about their tattoos, at the end, get B-roll and close-ups of their tattoos, having somebody edit that, I guess it was a bit easier for me to give that up. And I'll kind of have him get the video to about 95%, and then I'll come in and I'll finish it. So instead of me spending a week on one of those videos, he's doing that. I'm able to do my business, and then at the very end, I kind of come polish it up, which is nice. Instead of me texting or calling or doing whatever, to be like, hey, move this 2 seconds forward or this, that, or whatever. We have a cloud-based project through DaVinci Resolve to where I share the footage with him, and he puts everything together. And then when it's kind of my turn to polish everything up at the end, I can just hop on there and control everything, which is been a good system. But that would also be a very similar system to probably what I would use on the business as well. So it's been good in terms of like the things that I learned for the business, I can also take to the YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm. So you're turning into not freelancer Phoenix, but now like CEO Phoenix, and like you're gonna
trying.
Yeah, that's gonna be
huge, man.
man.
It's weird. Yeah. It's weird just because I've done this for so long, but I do think it's the natural progression of things. I've heard of guys that get into the video production industry that are great businessmen that know nothing of making videos and make a killing because they understand business. You know, yes, you don't know how to. I mean, you think about movies, think about how, look at the credits at the end of every single movie you've ever watched. It's hundreds and hundreds of people, Yes, the director has the role that they do because somebody believes in them to tell that story. And they have obviously a very good understanding of filming and lighting and audio and all these things because they have to communicate to their crew, but they have just that, a crew. They have the best filmer and the best lighter and the best sound person, and all those parts come together to create something really good. And as skilled as I might like to think that I am, there are people that are better than me at every single aspect of video, production than I am. So it's great because as the creative, I get to learn from them, but also I think, collaborative environments are fantastic. And I think that is really where the best products kind of come through. So kind of trying to break out of my shell a little bit, and also being able to use the network that I've built over the past 8 to 9 years of making videos.
Yeah. And are you, for the Artist Connection specifically, are you in Austin now coming up with ideas and kind of thinking through the video style, or is it just you kind of, since you've done it and the formula now, it's pretty much plug and play? Because I know you just mentioned like having collaboration creatively with other people, that how important that is and how important it can be. So what is your kind of creative process with things that you work on professionally for clients and then things on your personal channel?
Right. So what I typically try to do, let's use the YouTube channel, for instance, where Austin and I normally collab is within the filming. He's a great filmer. He has a fantastic eye. And so he is normally, I let him kind of try to have as much creative freedom as he wants when we're setting up the interviews. You know what I mean? He'll double check stuff with me, but normally I have no problems. I like the way that he, composes his shots and exposes his shots. I use him for a reason. He's very good at what he does. And I'll show him maybe a shot that I set up and be like, hey, what do you think about this? And we're very much collaborating when it comes to the filming side of things. With the editing, I am trying to kind of template stuff out some more. We have the system now that we've built. I would say I kind of made the template and given it to him, and he's been, very good at following that and kind of making those edits. But at the end of the day, anybody that's, has their hands on any project, it's going to have a little bit of them come through. So I can't obviously take credit for all the edits and say that, oh, because of my template, it turned out this way. I think it's every episode, every, video, we learn and we grow. Yeah. I'd say as far as like the ideas for the video, reaching out to the artist, coordinating everything, like that's all me. And that's that will be the way that I'll at least keep it for a while. I want to be able to take a template, like we have for a video, or take a system. I've been using Notion, which is like a organizational team software. And I've been trying to build that out over time. So every project I've done and every project that we kind of have coming up, I put it in the Notion. I say, this is what we have. I'll have the filming, I'll have the editing, I'll have, the social media edits, and I'll have the posting like on YouTube with the thumbnail. Everything's broken up. And then right now it kind of looks ridiculous because I'm just assigning myself everything.
Yeah.
But I'll assign Austin to the editing. And I've been trying to, I don't know, I've been a freelancer and I've been very fortunate to work in businesses like Bishop. And the more you grow, the more complicated things get. You know, so if everything isn't organized when it's small, it's definitely not going to be organized when it gets bigger. So I'm trying to kind of find those systems, have something in place. That way, if I want to add more people onto the team, I don't have to like try to explain what's in my brain to them, and just be like, well, we do that and we do this, but I like it like this and whatever. It's like I should be able to hand them a document or show them a video or show them whatever that's like, hey, this is what we do. Now, that doesn't mean it's law and that they have to stick to that and they can't do anything else, but I want to try to kind of build that over time. That way, when the team does expand, hopefully in the future, it's just like, they're right on it, and they can just kind of do what they need to do and not have to think about every single little aspect. Part of that has already been done for them.
Yeah. What you said one thing in there that like really just stuck out to me. I think you said, if you're not organized when you're small, you're not going to be organized when you're big. I'm pretty sure that's word for word. Yeah. That just like hit my bones in a way that I feel like you just said that and I needed to hear it right now at this exact moment, because that makes so much fucking sense. And I can relate to that so much because I know, through our conversations in the past, like you've been a part of Lonely Cowboy's growth from almost its starting point, a little bit past its starting point, but almost its starting point. And I think a big problem I had with trying to, figure out everything on my own was I was disorganized. I had everything up here, but it was hard to project that to the audience and, more importantly, people that I needed help from to make everything go. Going back to the Notion thing, and like you said, in the future, you're going to try and hire some more people to help out. What do you think the next few roles are going to be that you want to fill?
I mean, there's so many ideas I have. I mean, I have somebody helping me edit already with Austin. I'd like to find somebody else that could, even another editor, or even a social media person, or, because I post everything right now on my personal page. We haven't started an Artist Connection Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or anything like that yet. And that's been on purpose. Like, I want to have a bank of content that when we start, I could have a dedicated person to, clip it. I mean, half the stuff that we see right now on Instagram is like excerpts and clips from, YouTube videos or podcasts or stuff like this. I used a bunch of clips, from our podcast that we did last time. So it's like, I'd love to have somebody that's a full-time person that, the big pieces are already made. So within, let's say, a 15-minute tattoo tour video we did, are there 15, social media videos on there, or they're 10 or they're 5, whatever there might be. You know, I always call it, this is an approach that I always use with my clients. I call it juicing, where we're basically taking a piece of content and squeezing every single thing that we can out of it. Because just posting, let's say, a 2-hour podcast on YouTube, it's not guaranteed that your entire audience is going to get there. So what do? You, in that 2-hour podcast, let's say, get 10 clips and post them on different social media platforms over the next month. You know, those are then going to lead people to that main piece of media, you know, or whatever you are trying to get them to watch. And so I think that's kind of the nature of where we're at right now, you know, and it's great, you know, and like one video that normally hits on another platform may, you know, not hit on, you know, or if it hits on Instagram, maybe it doesn't hit on Facebook, or, you know, like, so being able to like cast that fishing net out and kind of do, you know, put all of your media on all platforms is only just kind of casting that net and creating more opportunity for, you know, for basically eyeballs to get, you know, on the content. But I would say, and even I just laid out that whole, like, what I would hope maybe the future plan would be. But I think the one thing that I've come to realize over this past month is, like, I was like, oh, okay, well, like, you know, I need to get to this many subscribers, or I need to be thinking about this business or this video or this, that, or this, whatever. And I'm like, I don't even know if I am aware of what the channel should be yet. I have a lot of ideas, but I'm still gaining the identity of the channel, you know, and the direction I want it to go. And when you're trying to figure out where you want to go and you're lost, or you're following a map, you're not sprinting. You know, what do? It's like you stop and you're like, where the fuck am I? You know, and you figure out, like, oh, okay, that's the direction I want to head. And then maybe you can pick the pace up. And I think I realized that I was just like so worried about, you know, like, I got to post and I got to get one out every 2 weeks and this and that. And these are things that I do want to happen, but I think I let that be the priority, and I lost sight of the content itself. And basically, if I couldn't, you know, if it becomes a chore, if it becomes something I'm not having fun doing, then same thing. If I'm not having fun doing it now when it's small, I'm sure as hell not going to have any fun doing it when it grows and gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It'll just become a bigger chore instead of a smaller chore. So I think lately, you know, I think hiring people or getting people on a team is attractive to me, because the less that I have to organize a shoot, less I have to, you know, even do an edit, or I have to, you know, do all these things. That's more time and energy I can invest to improving my interviewing skills, researching, you know, the artist or the topic of the video that we're going to talk about. You know, it just allows me more bandwidth to invest into being that kind of on-screen personality, which is very new to me. I'm so used to being behind the camera. So I think if there's one thing I've realized, it's that, okay, if I'm going to be in front of the camera, I have to invest time and energy in to get better at that skill, you know, and then hopefully find people that can help me do more of the back-end production side of things. But luckily, because that is my full-time job, I have a good understanding of that. So hopefully I'll be able to translate that to them when that time arises.
Dude, I think you just jumped into my brain and picked apart every little thing that I needed to hear and just told me it right there. Because, man, I swear to God, I think it's like God sent you down to give me advice on exactly what I needed to hear. Because everything you just said, I agree with. And I think it's like that's the most important thing when trying to start something new. And especially that one part where you talked about banking content and how you didn't start your Instagram, Facebook, all the other things besides the YouTube for the Artist Connection yet. I think for any beginning creator or anyone who wants to start a business, that is something I would tell them is so fucking important, because I know firsthand, like, I didn't bank content when I started Lonely Cowboy, and then I was scrambling trying to make shit, and it just wasn't fun, you know. Learning from those mistakes, though, right now, I actually, in the last week, I've banked 5 or 6 podcasts with different tattoo artists. I don't know how many I'm going to bank up until I release them, but I know that the same thing that you were saying, just giving myself a little bit of a cushion to have a little bit more time and have fun with it instead of like, fuck, all right, I got to do this podcast, edit it super fast, post it tomorrow, and then the next week do the same thing, you know? I just think everything you just said right there blew my mind. I was trying not to laugh at like how funny it is that I needed all that advice. So thank you for reminding me. Back to the social media aspect of it. I saw your thing on Instagram about Threads. What do you think of that platform? And do you think it's going to be a big player in the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think if freaking that lawsuit by Elon, didn't go through in that
Wait,
Threads.
what happened?
Yeah, apparently he's trying to sue Meta because I guess when he fired all the employees from Twitter, some of them went to Meta, and now he's saying that they took some of the IP from Twitter and have used that to make Threads. But I mean, all of this I'm seeing via social media, so how much of it is true, I don't know. If you watch this in another month, maybe we'll have some more clarity on it. But as Threads overall and as an app, in the last podcast we did, I talked about that adapt or die mentality, and I think, fortunately or unfortunately, as much as I've been enjoying Threads, when I first saw it, I was like, motherfucker, dude, like a new social platform that I gotta post shit to.
Yeah, dude.
Like add it to the list, of things that we now have to, add more time and energy to. And also another means of distraction, even just within a personal aspect. But I haven't been on Twitter in a very long time. I got off Twitter during when COVID was happening, and then when all the like almost World War III shit was happening. And I think like ignorance is bliss, and Twitter's a very real place. And so whether this is a good or bad thing, I was like, I think I need to step away from Twitter, because when you're seeing all of these bad things go on in the world, you know what I mean? Like, I can't help my brain but having fixate on them and think about them and dwell on them, So I was like, I'm going to take a step back from Twitter. I'll check it every now and then, but it's definitely not a platform that I've interacted with or posted to very often. And so I think when Threads came around, it was like, oh, okay, it's like I'm back on, Twitter again. And Twitter is this very raw place. You can literally say and basically do whatever you want. That's kind of the whole point of it. It's very much like Second Amendment, free speech. Elon bought it, so for that very reasons. But I imagine Threads will be a little bit different. But what I do like about it, and it's literally been 3 days, so we'll see how it plays out in the future. But to me, and there's all these memes about it where it's like the profile picture or the picture you post to Instagram, and then the one you post to Facebook, and then the one you put on Twitter. Like, they're all different things. Like, Instagram is this very like highlight, look at my life, flex on people, and then Twitter is this very like kind of more authentic role. And then Facebook's like the, what you post to your grandma can be, and share it with all her friends. Like, each platform has its own identity. And I think Threads is a more raw place, what I've seen. I've literally already seen, threads where people are like, don't bring all this motivational bullshit on this app. Like, let's just keep it degenerative and fun, and just like, like post stuff and just, post memes and share and whatever. And it's just like, whether it stays like that or not, I don't know. We'll have to see that in the future. But if it does become this kind of more raw place, like, I don't post a lot of memes on Instagram. I don't post a lot of like funny things or this or that or whatever, which for my own personal Instagram, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a professional videographer. I just told you I spent like a fucking hour setting up this podcast setup. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, it doesn't really matter, but it's like, that's just who I am. That's kind of part of my brand and part of my identity at this point. And I also like it. I like my stuff to look good and be clean and sound good. But I think Threads offers a platform and an outlet for me to kind of be more of myself, where it's like, cool, I'm just sharing memes and maybe throwing out a few talking points or ideas, or, hey, I just saw this movie, it was awesome, go see it. Like, I think it might be a place, you know, it's a little bit more relaxed and not so maybe chauvinistic as Instagram or some other platforms are, or TikTok. TikTok's like the biggest one. I haven't mentioned that once yet, but that maybe shows my age right there.
Yeah, I mean, I took a little bit of a social media break not too long ago. I deleted Instagram off my phone, deleted Snapchat, TikTok, everything. I didn't have anything. And like you said, ignorance is bliss. It was one of the best few months of my life. Well, I shouldn't say that. I was extremely stressed for lonely cowboy reasons, work reasons. Like outside of social media, I was really fucking stressed. So I got rid of all that, and life just slowed down, and it was very different. Like I noticed myself going through the day with more intention, and everybody I talked to in person, like the conversation felt like more than before, and there was no kind of gravitational pull toward my phone. It was very, very interesting. I highly recommend everyone give it a shot and see if you like it, because it definitely puts things into perspective on like how much time I was using on my phone. And even now, just because of business reasons, like I have to be on social media figuring shit out, scheduling and posting, whatever. But when I was off, I got my screen time down to like about an hour, which was amazing. And then I kind of did the math a little bit and realized if you're on your phone 8 hours a day for 365 days, I can't do the exact math in my head, but it turns out to be a lot of like a significant amount of days in the year, which is just crazy to think about. If you're just like this and then you think about 30 days out of the fucking year you're doing that, it's crazy. But I am interested to see what Threads does, and of course my brain first goes to like, how can I make this beneficial for business? And a little bit going back to what you were saying about banking content and stuff, I wish there was a way, and I bet there is, if you could make an app where you have a picture in your description, right? And it posts it to all social medias at once. So
Those exist. Those are like social media management accounts. That's something I've looked at that I've wanted to do in the future. So it's like people aren't just logging on to Instagram and this and that. It's like they have platforms or websites or things like that to where, you know, people will, especially bigger companies, will bankroll, you know, a month of content and already have it planned out, you know, to where they're essentially like, you know, they have it ready, set, go, whatever time, whatever content it is set within that app, and then it goes out on whatever platforms they want it to. And everything's kind of linked to whatever that main website is. That's something that I know a few people that have had experience with it and they've really liked it. And I think that's something I'd like to do in the future, because to like what you said, I try to stay, I'm one of those, like, if it's around me, like if there's bad food in the pantry, I'm going to eat it. If social media is on my phone, I'm going to click on it. Yep. So like even throughout the day, like I delete the app probably like 3 to 4 times a day. Yeah. And that's on a bad day. If I'm having a good day, you know, I checked it once in the morning, deleted it, don't check it again maybe till night, and go to bed. But I think that when it comes to platforms like that, the idea of like, cool, I made all my content, let me come up with all the captions right now, let me come up with, you know, everything, boom, one set to go out on Monday, one set out to go on Thursday, one set out, whatever the schedule you want it to be is. And then be able to like walk away. So not have the anxiety of like, because I'm sure you have the same way. It's like, you know, it's like, fuck social media. This is wasting all my time and energy. But it's like, I also need to be on this platform because of X, Y, Z. Some of it's excuses, some of it's valid. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, but like the idea of being able to like, cool, I'm still doing the things that I need to be doing or want to be doing, which is posting on all these platforms, but I'm able to like do it in these batches and like almost not be on the platform itself. Let me just like put it on here and then it goes out to the rest of the world. It's like I feel like guys like us is like we're kind of almost like drug dealers in a way, but sometimes we can get high on our own supply. Like we're literally putting out these dopamine fucking, you know, hits of pictures and videos and designs and whatever, and it's like, you know, we're grateful to have an audience and to have people, you know, respond to our content. But at the same time, we can also get lost in that scroll too. And it's like, fuck, I just wasted my whole day, or I spent 8 hours on my phone. And like you said, over that 365, that adds up really quickly. And I've realized that I'm far more productive and far happier person when I'm not on social media. I haven't taken it as far as taking 2 to 3 months off like you have, but I've been trying to, and I haven't been great every Sunday, but I call it my no social media Sunday, where I just delete it and just kind of like, you know, it's Sunday, beginning of the week, right before going into Monday, where I kind of have to be on social media and have to be on technology. But it's been a good little reset, even if it is just for 24 hours. And like you said, I think it does bring a little bit of clarity to just my day and my intentions and where I'm going, you know, which I think we all kind of need.
Yeah. Do you take breaks during your work days? Like
Fuck
little
no. I mean, like I do, but like I don't. Like I just, what ends up happening is like I mean, I'll take lunch, and like I'm a watch something while I eat kind of person, which again is not a great habit, but I've probably been doing that since like fucking middle school. If I'm eating something, there's some sort of YouTube video up. Like I feel like a fucking like an iPad kid. But so I'd say like in the morning I eat breakfast, I'm watching something I'm eating. You know, I have lunch, I'm watching something I'm eating. It's like when I dinner, I'm watching something I'm eating. So for me, if I can just like monitor down the time that I'm spending on social media in between those, you know, and those that might be, you know, somewhere between like 30 minutes. That's a break. I try to like, cool, let me go walk my dog or take him outside, or, you know, stuff like that. I'll count or try to use as breaks. And I, you know, as much as I'd love to just like sit in front of a computer for like 5, 6 hours, like sometimes I'll go stir crazy. So I need to take some sort of break. But the hard part for me, and I'm sure you might be able to relate with this, is just like you're in the zone, you're creating, you're feeling good, but it's like somebody calls you or somebody emails you or somebody this. Like I chase all the shiny objects that pop out in front of me. So that do not disturb button has become my best fucking friend over the past like 2, 3 months, because it's like, if I get an emergency email, or even not, just like somebody reaching out, like all of a sudden now I just spent 30 minutes responding to this email, and now I'm out of the flow of whatever edit or project that I was working on. And it takes like that maybe 10 to 20 minutes to kind of refocus yourself to get back in the same groove. You know, so if you're just constantly getting pinged all day or emailed all day, or whatever distractions it might be, social media, whatever, like that adds up over time. And I think I feel good about myself when I put in a hard day's work, but I think it's very like I feel like only really ourselves know like our effort levels. You know what I mean? Like I can't really tell, you know what I mean? You might got a lot of stuff done today. I'd be like, damn, Kellen, like you fucking knocked today out of the park. Like you got so much done. And you're like, fuck, dude, like I feel like I didn't get anything done. You know what I mean? It's like all perspective. And I find that like I very much, if I have a stack of papers on my desk, or, you know, which is an analogy, normally it's like I got to do that video and this video and that video and this project. Like it never really ends. And I love it to be at zero, but it's never at zero. So I've realized if I set my expectations to be like, hey, I'm never going to get this stack of 20 projects done, and to where I get to just like sit back, relax, put my hands on my head, and, you know, just be by the beach and not worry about anything. It's like that's probably never going to happen. There's always going to be the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So, and just being able to plan out my day of saying, hey, my goal today is to do, you know, finish this video or answer these emails or do this or do that. When I'm able to do that and then cross those off, then I feel good about myself. Then I feel like I did accomplish something, while still being able to be like, okay, Monday I did that video, but then Tuesday I'll do that one, and Wednesday, and still be able to get stuff done when deadlines hit. I think I found that that's been a good strategy for me to kind of stay on point, still feel good about the work that I'm accomplishing, while still not overwhelming myself with, you know, kind of looking back and seeing everything big picture and be like, gosh, I got to climb this mountain. It's like just one step at a time, one project at a time, one task at a time, and kind of go from there.
Could you elaborate more on how you schedule your days and maybe some tips to your scheduling, or just any kind of like insight on, like you said, how you take it one step at a time and not try and climb the mountain every day?
Right. I think, and right now I'm in very much an experimental phase. So I'll just kind of throw out some of the things that I've been doing. I'd say the number one thing that's helped me that I know will be a constant for me going forward is just having a planner, like a physical, like book planner. So I have every single day on there. When I wake up, like I try to journal, not always great about it, but I do try to journal. And then right after journaling, I go over my schedule for the day. So I'm always like, okay, I did jujitsu, cool. And I journaled, cool. I can cross it off. Then I get into more of like what I need to do for the day. You know, if I have to go run and ship something at the post office, if I need to run to the store, even my personal stuff that I need to do that day, I will put on there. But if I need to do an edit, you know, I will put whatever the edit is. And then even with under the edit, you know, depending on how far, if maybe I haven't started it, maybe I'm halfway through it, you know, on a full edit, I need to organize the footage, you know, lay out the interview, edit the audio, color grade, or whatever my steps are for whatever the specific project is. Instead of just put, you know, do X video, it's do X video with the task that I need to do. So instead of me looking at my, you know, planner and just being like, well, I only did one video today. It's like, no, I did, you know, I organized all my footage, I color graded the footage, I edited the footage, I found my songs, I did my sound effects, you know, then it makes it seem like I did a lot more stuff. And again, just being able to cross stuff off, I think makes me feel accomplished and motivates me to do more stuff throughout the day. The other thing that I've been experimenting with is keeping the tasks that are related to each other, doing them at the same time. So for instance, like emails is a very, I'm not going to say autopilot thing, but it's just like, it's a very, what do they talk about, like left brain and right brain. You know, you have like your creative tasks that we're doing, and then some of our more like organizational skills or whatever. So it's like things like doing my bookkeeping, like keeping my receipts and my finances, emails, phone calls, stuff of that nature. I try to time block it. So be like, hey, I'm going to do all of these things from, you know, 10 to noon. And then after noon, then I'm going to eat lunch and then go into my creative tasks for the day. That way I can kind of stay on one side of my brain, get those tasks done, and then move on to the other side of the brain, instead of being like, well, I'm going to send that email, then do part of this edit, then hop on this meeting, and then do that, you know, and then I'm just kind of like, I feel like my brain's all over the place. I've actually tried to, I'm reading the 4-Hour Work Week right now by Tim Ferriss. And I'm probably literally like 10 pages in, but one thing that's already been mentioned that I've been trying to do is for Bishop and Inkies, we have all of our Zoom calls on Tuesdays. And so I've been trying to, if I do have any other calls in the coming week, I try to schedule them on that Tuesday. So like something like this to me is an exception, but like if I have to meet with a client, call with them, meet with them in person, whatever it might be, I try to put it on that Tuesday. So that way Tuesday, boom, got all my meetings done. Maybe I answer my emails. Maybe I did my bookkeeping. Cool. All that's done. I feel good about myself. And then I have, you know, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the weekend if I need to execute on all the other tasks that are in front of me. So I'd say those are the big ones that have been helping me out. And even just writing it down. I used to be able, I feel like, to keep everything in my head. And I kept track of it well. I wasn't late to stuff. I knew when projects were were supposed to, you know, be turned in. Like I was able to really keep, you know, schedule pretty well. But as, you know, times get busier and I get in charge of more and more things, having like writing it down, I feel like is necessary for me at this point. And I also have a Google Calendar that I've been putting everything on. So that way, when I get so focused on the day, like I still have to be keeping track of what's to come, whether it be the next week or the next month or the next year, depending on how far out I'm getting contacted for certain projects or things that I want to try to accomplish.
Yeah, gotcha. And in the beginning, right there, you just said jujitsu is that a everyday thing now?
Yeah, I'd say my breakdown right now for training is Monday through Thursday jujitsu. I'm doing at either 6 or 6:30 in the morning, and
Ooh.
then yeah, that's a consistent. And that goes back to the scheduling. Like for me, I used to train at like 10 or noon or maybe even in the evening. For the evening, I get so tired. It's hard for me to motivate myself. At like 10, it's like the middle of the day and I got to drive to the gym, go to the gym, come back, eat, shower, whatever it might be. So now all of a sudden it's 10 and maybe I'm not starting to work again till, 1 or 2 if I'm being lazy.
Yeah,
So being able to wake up with a purpose of like, my purpose right now is to go to the gym. It sucks a lot of days, but it wakes me up. So I'm getting the endorphins and the dopamine of working out, and then immediately, coming home, like shower, just getting ready like I would on a normal day. And then I just have my whole day in front of me where again, don't have to distract myself. Like, cool, already got my workout done. It was very hard. Now I have the rest of the day to do whatever the fuck I need to do. So maybe I'll add in some sort of accessory on those Monday through Thursdays. But then I'm trying to go and do a CrossFit workout or some sort of training on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, kind of depending on what I want to do that weekend. I'll always try to get 2 days in and then have like one day that's like a full rest day.
gotcha. So I agree with you, and I used to not be like this. I still think I am, where my workouts are always better midday, like between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. is usually when I work out the hardest and I have the most energy. But I feel like I need to get to the schedule that you're kind of on, where you, like you said, you wake up with a purpose to go work out, and that's just what you do. You don't stray away, even though it sucks. You wake up with a purpose. I've tried to do that with cold showers, where I wake up and it's right into the cold shower. And now that it's summertime and it's hotter, I do as cold as it can possibly be right off the bat. Like in the winter, I'll go in hot water, wash off, and then toss it on the cold. Now it's just wake up, boom, cold as can be on my face. But I want to start doing that with working out first and then, or sorry, cold shower, then working out, because I know you're not supposed to work out and then get into cold, cold water, especially if you're doing like weightlifting, because your muscles just
Right.
contract, and you want to let them kind of almost breathe a little bit after the workout. But
Exactly. I was actually doing cold showers. You got me more motivated on that just because I don't have like a cold tub.
mm,
But I like them. I mean, obviously they're great for health benefits, but I just like it because it's like just a mental challenge at the same
mm,
time. And I was doing them like all the time after every day. And then I did read up on some of the, like you were saying, not doing them post workout. Still do them post workout occasionally when I'm not doing some sort of like hypertrophy, like weightlifting or this or that. For like you said, like the muscles are, they kind of need to be inflamed, and like you are training them and they need to kind of have that time to
mm.
rest and decompress. And I'm not a fucking scientist, so if somebody's watching this and that was complete bullshit, you know what I mean? Whatever it is. But that might change if a new study comes out next week. But yeah, I try to do it on days maybe I didn't go to the gym or this, or like days where I know it's not gonna like, hurt my gains.
Yeah,
Then I'll try to throw it in there as well. But I pretty much will do. I used to do cold and then go hot, and then I started going hot and then cold and ending on cold, and I found that like ending on cold sucked more. Plus, like you have, you know, you're kind of obviously the whole point of doing that is so your body can heat back up and heat
yeah.
itself back up, and that's kind of where you get those benefits. So I started doing that. But you were a big proponent in me doing that as well. So
Hell yeah. Um, Well, yeah, going back to the jujitsu thing. So, like, how do you wake up that fucking early and are motivated to go to the gym? Like, do you drink coffee? What is your routine pre-gym?
So pre-gym, like I'm normally why it's not a exact time or like it I don't know, people normally wake up at like 5 or 5:30 or 6. Like I wake up at 5:20 for some
Mm,
reason. That's just like when I set my alarm and I feel like it's enough time. Almost now it's been like too much time for me to go to the gym. If it's like if I'm going to the gym at 6, it's a pretty good amount of time. I'm not a wake up and I'm just like up kind of person. Like I'm like, where the fuck am I? What year is it?
yeah.
Like slowly get up and like I need to be awake before I go somewhere. Unless like it's just like an emergency or like something like that, or like I have to get out of the house and I can, but I need some time to wake up. So I'll wake up at 5:20, head to the gym. If it's a 6 a.m. class, leave around like 5:45, 5:50. If it's 6:30, leave at like 6:15. Um, but I've been trying to like actually get a little bit more sleep and wake up at like 5:45 or something. If it's like a like 6:30 class, which is a little bit later, and get all the sleep I can because I do think that's important. I try to go to bed between 9 and 10, so I still get about 7+ hours, which is very much not like a creative thing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
creative is like fucking stay up all night and do whatever and then fuck it. But I was listening to, I'm sure you've heard or listened to the Andrew Huberman podcast
Oh yeah,
where
big
they were
fan.
talking about like caffeine and when you should be drinking it, when you shouldn't. And I'm not going to try to get into the details, but basically what I took away from that is he was like, if you're going to go do a hard intensive workout, you can drink coffee before that and you'll be fine and you're not going to get like a crash in the afternoon. But if you're just waking up and not going to immediately do a workout, you want to be awake for about like an hour to an hour and a half before you take the caffeine in so you don't crash in the afternoon. So I've still tried to like, I'll drink my caffeine either after the workout, or if I'm really tired that morning, then I'll drink it before the workout. But that's really my routine. If I'm really good, I might try to stretch. Like if I fucked my neck up or my knees, or I screwed my knee up a few months ago and I just kind of re-inflamed it the other day actually. But it's not like bad. It's just like I wasn't stretching, I wasn't warming up. Like I was just being negligent on
Yeah.
what my pre-warm-up routine should be. But yeah, that nothing really special. I just kind of wake up. But also it's like, I don't know, I've always been like, if everyone's going one direction, I like to go the other. And like I find great joy in knowing that, like even when you were just like, you wake up that early, it's
Yeah.
like I find great joy in that because it's like I know that a lot of people aren't willing to. And now it's like that's my new normal. Like sleeping in's like fucking like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I could sleep all day if I wanted to. And that's not to say everyone has to like wake up early or do this or do that, but it's just a sign that I'm willing to do shit that other people probably aren't willing to do.
Fuck, dude.
But
You got me hyped
it's
up
just
now.
like, yeah, but it's just like, I don't know. It's cool. I saw this video by like Alex Hormozy, and I gotta find it. I'll send it to you. But like he was talking about like there's a lot of fit people that are very successful. There's a lot of fat people that's very successful. Like just because you work out or do things or whatever, like doesn't inherently mean that you're gonna be successful at what you want to do. And then he went into like the attributes that they did a study on that found like what made up a successful person. So it's like I'm not here to fucking sit on my high horse and say like I fucking wake up at 5:30 and go to jujitsu and do this. It's just
No.
like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
somebody could be, you know what I mean? There could be people out there that's like they don't fucking work out at all, but it's like they're still great at what they do, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
I just know that for me, like working out makes me a better person. It helps my physical health and it helps my mental health, and like it just kind of jump starts my day. And I really do feel a difference when I'm not eating good, when I'm not working out, when I'm not doing these things. Like I truly, understand like the importance of it. And so I think like for me, I found it works, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it works for everybody. But when it comes to working out and eating good, I think that benefits anybody.
I was gonna say I'll lean in for you. Like the people who work out are gonna be far more, well, I shouldn't say it. They're going to have an extreme advantage over a person who doesn't work out, just because like it does release chemicals in your brain that will make you happier. It'll make you more creative. It'll make you think more clearly. It's just, there's science to back it up, and it's been proven by a countless amount of people and doctors and scientists, et cetera, et cetera. But to your point about, you find joy in knowing that people aren't willing to do that. That's kind of how I feel with cold showers, and now it is the normal. So now it doesn't feel like that as much.
It's like, what do I got to do to make it like more intense? You know what I mean? They're like,
yeah. I want to get a cold tub. They're just fucking expensive, but that'll be the next rung. But man, you motivated me to start waking up earlier and get working out, because I've been struggling recently with working out. And I go through one of these funks at least once a year where it's just my motivation to work out is just so low. And then once I get over that hump, the rest of the year, I'm balls to the wall. But it's about a month where I'm like, fuck, I just don't feel like doing it, But I think it's now I'm going to wake up and be like, fuck, Phoenix is already up. He's already gotten to the gym and done. So maybe that'll be
well, shit, by the time you're up, you're on the fucking East Coast, so you got a 3-hour head start on me. So
I know. Well, that's
regardless.
If we wake up at the same time, though.
Now we're actually waking up at the same time, so it works out. But one thing that I did see that I do very much want to try, but I think it's very hard, at least for guys like us in our profession, because you never know when creativity is going to strike. Mm-hmm. But I did see this thing on social media the other day where it was this lady, I forget her name, but she's a highly regarded businesswoman, and her husband's a former Navy SEAL. And she was basically saying that one of the big reasons that a lot of military personnel are successful in everyday life is they know how to accomplish a goal, because their military days are so regimented. It's like they wake up at that time and they do this and they do that and they execute their job, whatever. And it's like there's no decision fatigue. It's not like, oh, it's Monday, maybe I'll wake up at 6. Oh, it's Tuesday, maybe I'll wake up at 8. It's like every single day they wake up at a certain time, they work out at a certain time, they eat at a certain time, they do their work at a certain time. So it's not this like, every single day trying to piece together your schedule. You wake up and know exactly what you need to do and then have to execute on that. I think like if you had a 9 to 5, that's a little bit easier to do maybe. But like when you create your own schedule, it's kind of the beauty of it. It's like you get to say fuck it on a random Tuesday and go do something. Or it's like, hey, I have a shoot on Wednesday, where I'm on my feet, I'm running around all day, and then Thursday I have to edit all day, but then the next week, maybe those days are flip-flopped. Like, it's hard for us to control every single aspect, but I think if we maybe can't be perfect at it, but I think the overall theme of like, try to make your days as consistent as possible. That way you're taking, the decision-making kind of out of it and just like, what you need to be doing.
Mm-hmm. It's a blessing and a curse to be working for yourself. And I think it's one of the greatest gifts in the world, but it's also it is, at least for me, the fucking hardest thing in the world. Just trying to, like you said, make a routine and make your schedule and stay disciplined in it. It's hard. There's no other way around it. In my case is a little bit different than yours, because I'm not making, like, I'm basically working for free. I have been for the last year and a half, and it is draining when you put so much effort into something and the money is just not providing. But I love it and I believe in it, and I'm very grateful for it. So I don't want to sound like I'm complaining about it, because it really is a blessing that we get to do what we do, and we don't have a boss to tell us what to do, etc. But I think we should wrap it up here. It was a good podcast. We talked about a lot, and I appreciate you so much for coming on. Where can they find you? And if they want to reach out with questions about the artist connection or potential clients. I know you said in the very beginning that you might be starting to say no to people, but hey, fuck it.
Right.
Floor is yours.
If you want to follow me on social media, I'm the most active on Instagram, which my handle is phx.phillips. That has a link to basically everything I do. If you're on YouTube, if you look up The Artist Connection, that's where I'm putting out a lot of passion projects as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram, or if you want to reach out to me more directly in more of a professional way, you can email me at phx@phxphillips.com.
Right on. All right, brother. Well, I'll just end this, and then if you want to chat for a few after, we can. But thank you so much for coming on, and hopefully we do it again soon.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Peace.